What's happening, family? It is your man, CRB Jr. here at Motown Mafia Podcast. This is episode 71. We thank you all.
Oh, you made 70 episodes?
70.
They add up.
We're at 71.
You probably, if you were to count, you'd probably be at about...
I'll make that. Well, I don't make that.
Yeah, but yeah, officially, we got way more than that, but officially, since we kind of started doing structured interview show style, quote unquote, podcast, this is the 71st. So thank you guys again for your support. In the background, we always got my brother and partner in crime, Big Lou. How you feeling?
Big up, man. I'm great.
And a familiar friend, colleague, partner, my man's in them, Alan Al Prophet and them.
Al Prophet.
What's that, Al Prophet?
Somebody.
American Dope. If you guys got to be on Dope, if you ain't heard of American Dope, one of America's true premier podcasting content creators. That is not an overstatement.
Many documentary.
Award-winning documentary.
Podcasts be running their mouth.
Correct.
The worst thing ever is Clubhouse.
What do you think? Go ahead, let's get to
Clubhouse.
it. What's happening with Clubhouse?
Unbelievable. Like, even what's supposed to be like the street Clubhouse, they talk about what gang member is gay, and it's bizarre. People are bizarre nowadays.
So I guess that gets...
Do you hate people as much as me? Not everybody, but just most of it.
I've accepted this need for attention and this internet, what they call the attention economy, has drove people crazy. I'm an old school hustler. So I'm used to selling goods and services for money, but people now that they figured out a way to get $2.
If you degrade yourself or somebody else, you can get some degree of attention for a brief period of time.
And that's the world we live in. So you got grown men having little girl conversations.
Oh, that's
gossiping. You got 40, 50, 60-year-old men gossiping like 8th grade girls about who's sleeping with who.
Worse than that. Like I know Jumper, they'll watch each other's porn and comment on what someone's penis size is. It's bizarre.
We ain't gonna talk about too much the moral decay in America, but
but let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
I wonder though. I do think about is it that the people are getting worse, or is now because so many we can see the behavior and thoughts of people, of regular and less than regular people, you're just finding out how sorry so many people are. Because up until whatever amount of time, 10, 15, definitely 20 years ago, you only saw celebrities, politicians. Like, you had to be of some stature to even have your thoughts and words broadcast. At least you had to have some money or something into the atmosphere. We didn't know what everyone was doing in these little houses. You didn't know when you drove down the street and you saw the tough guys hanging out in front of the liquor store with their bottle and their bandana, you might have thought, they probably talking about killing somebody. But now you find out, nope. Well, they're gossiping about
back in the day, the tough guy in the store was probably actually really tough. And he wasn't being tough for clout or because, he could get some likes or shares. He was tough because he had to be tough to survive. Do
you get likes and shares for pretending to be tough now, don't you?
They do, and being, I'm born in '64, so I'm the last generation of the baby boomers, right? So this world now is just, I think for everybody in my era, is just goofy. Because real hitters don't talk about hitting people. Real tough guys don't talk about being tough.
Of course, if you would kill somebody for money, why wouldn't you talk about killing people for money
Is that a riddle? No.
No, but I thought like you, but I also think about this stuff a lot. So if I would shoot somebody for whatever reason for money,
okay.
So I'll take a life. I'll risk going to prison, the moral, whatever that comes with taking a life for money. Why wouldn't I talk about? Like, talking about killing somebody is less bad than killing somebody.
Because it's goofy.
Well, it's killing people for money. Killing people for money ain't goofy, it's dark.
This is what I'm saying. This is that new world thinking. We're just going to convolute everything and make it the same. No, a hitter who for a right fee will take a life and somebody who get on front of cameras and try to glorify the fact that I was willing to take a life, and that's different. That ain't the same. I'm not saying that I don't get it.
No,
If you was
it's
willing
not
to-
the same. You're right. But I'm just saying, like, the more I thought about it, I was like, well, of course, this is what they're doing. They didn't have a moral compass in the first
But if
place.
you follow that logic, it leads us to where we at now, where anything that I can do to make money,
well, that's where we're at.
is justified. That's what's different. You know, because I'm not there. People used to be. There would be certain things you didn't. We don't live in a world. I mean, I guess that's the point. When you are willing to degrade yourself for money, that's used to be a line, right? Like
Yeah.
there were words we used to say, like, "Don't play yourself," right?
Oh, everybody plays them, so that's what you're supposed to
Well,
do.
not everybody.
No, not
but,
everybody, a
but-
lot of
but
people.
a lot of people are willing to play themselves, degrade themselves, disrespect themselves, disrespect their friends and family for $1. We used to say in our day, that's some bitch shit.
Which is what it is. It's very
Well,
feminine,
what it really is some hoe shit.
childish.
Because no, you for money like a prostitute,
Yeah, you're right.
I can make you do anything. And that's what social media don't talk about. So when you behave like a prostitute that for some likes,
Oh, shit.
for some shit, you will just pimp yourself out for some money. I ain't passing
There's some
judgment.
short money at
I
that.
mean, you know, it's a certain amount of money. If you a hustler, if you come from my world, look, I'm gonna figure out how to get some money. So I ain't gotta prostitute or whore myself out and make myself a clown to get some money. Because if you's a real guy, I know how to get some money without turning myself into a freak show or a clown. But I guess if you ain't got that hustle in you, if they're
a
not
lot of
creative,
people have grown up in a household now where none of the adults ever worked, so they haven't been seeing people go to work.
so work ethic is.
They don't even have it. It's not a work ethic is how hard you work, but they don't even have a conception of work. And this is across all demographics, all geographies. There's whole small towns where the plant closed 30 years ago, and the whole town been on aid or of some sort.
So we was talking with Lou just before we went on camera, right? That our grandparents and great grandparents' generation was referred to as
The greatest.
the great generation, right? They survived the Depression. They defeated Nazi Germany, won World War II, came and grew the American economy to the envy of the world, right? The history, I was saying, I hate to say
Cuban
it.
black and mild.
Cuban black and mild, straight from Havana, Castro, and Cabanas. Holla at you, man. This may go down as the generation that sent America off. This was the worst generation. This was the selfie generation. Was the generation that America went from a great community. You know, let me just say it.
There's an Instagram you guys should all go check,
Right.
and it's called Influencers in the Wild, and there's a few like that where it's posts of where someone caught and a videotape an influencer doing ludicrous, like bizarre things. Like people are in random neighborhoods and you'll just see a phone set up and a girl doing some ludicrous thing. People go and disrupt whole Walmarts. That prank stuff.
Well, I know they don't know how to get no money. I'm saying it's so
And
obvious.
it's disrespect. Like to go into a
online.
Walmart and prank a stranger.
Dude, this is what I'm saying. But I had to get okay. We live in goofy times. And it was no other way for other non-creative, non-talented, no hustle people to get money. Now you can actually have no motivation, except for the motivation to be buffoon, right? You don't have to have no particular creativity. If you're willing to push the limits of social norms and respectability, you can get some attention.
You know what? When I realized how lazy and ridiculous people were in LA, when I first got there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a normal person. I'm gonna go on a dating app or something. And I quickly realized, at least in LA, all those Tinder, all those regular dates, they're full of, I guess they're like scammers. And I got this weird thing with scammers. The first time I did it, I was about 19, and this crackhead walked up to me, and he was like, my father just had a heart attack.
Oh, shit.
and I need $20 to get to the hospital.
Not 20.
So this was in like the dead of winter. It was really cold. It was at the AutoZone on 8 Mile. There used to be one like 8 Mile, Wyoming or something.
Yep.
So I think because I grew up in my family, I had a few like bad liars and scammers, so I didn't like that. So I was like, something inside of me, I was like, oh, all right, I'll take you. No, he wanted to, yeah, that's what it was. His father had a heart attack. So we get in the car. So then, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Okay. My sister got me into drug rehab at Providence. What's the hospital in Southfield?
Providence, right. 9 Mile and
But
Northland Drive.
I got off drugs on my own.
Okay.
And they're going to test me when I get there.
Okay.
So really, I need to get a rock and smoke it so that I'll drop dirty when I get to the hospital.
Oh, he was a clever guy.
But if you give me, and I really only need $6, because I know where they got some $6 rocks.
$6 hookups. All right.
Take me to get that,
All
and
right.
then take me to Providence, and my sister will give you an ounce of weed. Ooh. So I'm like, okay.
We called him a fabulous.
Just $6.
That's a fantabulous
Now mind
story.
you, I'm about to get entertained. It's $6. I'm like, all right.
All right.
So we go on the street in Detroit. He get his little rock, his little Coke can, smoke it. $6. Like I saw him off a $6 rock, and by the time we got to Providence Hospital, I doubt if he was
6
high.
minute rock might be get steak keep you out for 6 minutes.
Okay, so he's not even high by the time we get to Providence Hospital, and it's very cold out. It's like January in Detroit. So we get to Providence. We're in the parking lot. He's about to go up. I'm like, hold on, you got to leave something. Like I know you're gonna get your sister. You owe me $6. So he gives me his winter coat and his ID.
Oh, see, you playing too much.
And he never came. Like, I did sit for a while, because I wasn't going to just take, but about a half hour past, the man lost his winter coat and his ID for a $6 rock messing with me. So,
moral and lesson.
I would be on these, when I realized that's what they were doing on these, because you would meet these girls and they texting you, okay, we're going to meet up. So, eventually, when they're finally gonna, oh no, I want to come see. But this is all they were like. I need $40 for gas. And I was like, hold on, have you invested like several days of texting me to try to get $40 from me? So then I started doing. This was kind of a waste of my
Baby boomers. I know we don't
Just
understand.
I had a
this world.
problem with it. I would do that just to waste their time, and then not ever respond. But how can you invest? Now, someone told me, because a guy did this to me. I've gotten a text from several, like, you're hanging out in the clubs in LA and you think you're meeting, people are dressed up nice, they had a club, they had a table with a bottle. Don't mean the bottle got nothing to do with them.
Correct.
Like, I met 2 fake NBA players. They were real tall young black guys, and they'd be dressed nice and they'd be out and about. So when I first got to LA, I was like, oh, there's some people I can hang with. We tripping on about.
Right.
But then I noticed, and then we looked them up, tried to look them up. Like, these guys weren't in the NBA. But they go to the front of the line, but I ain't got no idea I play for the Denver Nuggets. And they get let in.
See, this is all you're describing. I believe the kids used to work. This is goofy behavior.
No, it is. And then that same guy.
This is goofy behavior.
So this was when the weed was popping and all that in LA. Not that I was involved in that. So he sends me a text. Now, mind you, me and him didn't do any marijuana business and barely just vaguely discussed it. He sends me a text with like 500 pounds of weed. He's like, you want to put in on this load? James Harden got part of it. You want to invest in other?
So he didn't put James Harden in the middle of a marijuana conspiracy.
And he sends me a big picture of marijuana.
And documented.
You want to put this in?
James, Mr. Harden, watch your friends.
I said, officer, I don't participate in these sorts of things. And I blocked his number.
All right. So, I know I be seeming old when I be talking like that. I understand.
So I made a lot of girls text me 100
time
times to ask for $60 that they didn't get. I'm proud of that.
I mean.
Proud of that, Lou. I wasted a lot of their time. They could have been at work. Go to a temp service.
No. Sometimes when you see craziness, you have to know that one day this will pass. These people aren't going to evaporate, though. That's the scary thing. This will pass.
You're 25, and your life's hustle is to be on a dating site. Or like I was going to tell you, you give out your number in LA, you meeting people, I do clothing. Like you think you're meeting different people. And then you get a text from them. hey man, I ran out of gas. Can you cash at me $40? And they're like, what is? So finally, a guy that I knew that probably did that kind of stuff too, he explained to me. He was like, oh no, that's a thing. You can get hundreds of phone numbers. If you're like hanging out in LA, you can rack up 20 phone numbers a night. I don't mean like romantic phone numbers. I mean like it could be that, or it could be two guys talking business, whatever. So they got all these numbers. So if every day I send 100 texts, I send a mass text, hey, I ran out of gas, got $40. A couple people might think it's somebody else, it's their little brother,
Fuck around,
and they just
make
do it.
$120 a day on the bullshit.
Yeah.
On the bullshit.
You can do that in LA.
I
There's a lot of people living
I'm
like
gonna tell you, and I'm anybody knowing that I'm like the most untech. Lou, this was about 5 years ago. They show you really how slow I am when it comes to technology.
Courtney's very intelligent.
It was IQ and cyber literacy are two different things. This voluptuous, beautiful sister of ours,
voluptuous,
say she was doing some modeling, this, that, the third,
modeling,
and she was looking for people to support her.
Oh, I bet.
And
wait, just send her some money?
She helped me do. She was trying to pay for a photo shoot or something.
And she was begging out loud?
Now, I don't even know how any of this.
Sharp on No Jumper called it internet he called it panhandling, online panhandling.
Okay.
Text panhandling.
So I call our good
It's
brother.
panhandling.
I call our good brother Lou. I say, check this out, Lou. I've seen a girl who I think could be a good new friend.
Oh.
And she seems to be in need of $50 to help her with her photo. $50 to help her with her photo shoot. Now,
see, they don't even ask for money. Like, that's where they get me. I thought a
wait a minute.
scammer's supposed to be getting down on. They'll try to scam you for $40, $50.
Wait a minute, but
which is unbelievable.
I know so little about how this works. I think that I'm the only one on Instagram that she's asking.
Well, you're special.
That I'm special.
So
right?
one-to-one relationship.
So I call Lou. I'm like, Lou, check this out, man. Do what we need to do, man, so we can send this girl $50.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah, transfer this to that to that to this.
Hey, you done moved money from different bank accounts?
Because I had already got burnt out with this cash.
Courtney was fresh to the game.
I had stopped at that Cash App shit because people just used it to beg.
It's called Trap App.
Yeah, people would just, and I didn't even know.
Lou, our trusty gentleman behind the camera there, a guy asked him, a bum said, can you cash at me $5?
So
yes.
I sent
I
sent the child $50. And then to my horror, I come to find out
she wasn't using it for a photo shoot?
No, that she was asking other men for $50 also. I was hurt.
You felt like you've been bamboozled.
I thought you maybe you was helping her out. How'd you find out?
I'd be playing on the phone. I hit one or two buttons. Some shit came up, and I noticed that
she was doing it to others.
I wasn't special. But I meet people when I meet people. I don't use the phone. I don't use the phone as a method to meet people. I use the phone as a method to call people. Because again, this is a general. So I'm not hating on the new way of.
I like to join OnlyFans so I can make the Pakistani or the Indian or whoever they are posing as a 18-year-old blind.
But this is what
send me messages, and I never send any money.
This is what confuses me. Are
you still there?
Paying for somebody's company is not a new.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Paying for somebody.
I'm looking for my credit card. Hold on. Can you send me another picture?
Guys paying for broads' companies is kind of old. They go back to Adam and Eve, right? So I'm confused.
What about guys paying to talk to a man posing as a woman on an app?
Adam and Steve, I think, is different than Adam.
But they're
and Eve.
posing.
I don't know. I'm not versed in Adam and Steve. But
I'm Jessica, an 18-year-old college student.
I know a lot about Adam.
I'm just on OnlyFans to make money for school.
So what I'm trying to say is in the ancient times of when I was roaming around America, if a broad was into that life, she just was into that life, and it was what it was. Either you willing to make a deal or you not. I don't understand all of this cloak and dagger. We friends, OnlyFans. If you on the Stroll website, you just on the Stroll website. Why pretend? I don't pay. I'm not paying for your gas. I might pay for your time. and
They
attention.
don't want to meet with no white meat. First of all, most of them, it's
you
not the
saying-
woman you think you're talking to.
Is that how that works?
The way you would make money on OnlyFans, I reverse engineered it, and then I met people that run these
I'm
type
learning,
of
y'all.
things.
I'm learning with y'all out there.
This is what you do. Let me get
I
you
don't be
on. Let me
knowing.
get you the OnlyFans hustle.
I don't know.
Preferably, you go to a foreign country.
Okay.
You give a find an attractive girl. You give her maybe, I don't know, whatever they give them, $500 or something, and you do a whole date. You get about 20 outfits. You do a bunch of photos and videos,
Okay.
and you do that with about 10 or 20 of them.
This sounds like a business model.
It is, and you
Okay.
set all that up as OnlyFans. You use their ID because you have to, you set it up in their net, but the bank accounts all go to you, obviously.
Obviously.
And then you just one person responds to all 20 of those accounts as posing as each of the
As that
separate
person.
girls.
Right.
And then you had that whole library of content and you put it up intermittently so it seems like it's fresh.
But you know what this all means? That there is a large.
That's what
pool-
Andrew Tate made
There's
his
a
money off
large
of.
pool of men who no longer are comfortable engaging with women in person.
I think
Because
there always has been. I
that-
think
that-
that now there's just
Avenue
a
for
perfect
them.
scam.
Okay,
to
because
get
I was
to
gonna
them.
say that doesn't work without demand. Every business needs.
No, I think there's always been. That's always existed. They just
Because-
had no. Like we were when we tried to go to a exotic dancing instead. Well, we did, but it was. But like the slow boy that was in there,
Yeah.
he didn't need to be in there. He needed to be getting worked out of his money on OnlyFans
no. See. No.
because he doesn't have the social skills. He wasn't even talking to none of the girls. He didn't
Let me
even
tell
know.
you.
He didn't even have no singles.
In the good old days, Al, his mans and them who handling a couple
Yeah,
dollars
why are they letting him
would
roam
have just
around?
told old girl, check this out, this is my cuz, he a little bit slow.
This guy
But he like-
weirded
he
out
like-
every person in
he
the
like women-
girls were
he-
like, who's that guy?
He like women too.
Then he started to weird us out. He just kept moving around.
Here go a couple dollars, take care of my man. That's how it used to be. It wouldn't even be that. It ain't that complicated. It's not that complicated. This my man. He ain't.
Apparently it is.
He kind of awkward with women. Homegirl, why don't you take care of my man?
Awkward with women. It is awkward, period. He
I'm
was
saying-
making me feel weird.
It's a lot. So,
He just walked back and forth.
because you keep me abreast as my savant about these issues, what's going on in the urban inner city Negro communities of America and America in general.
Hard learned lessons.
The Harlem. What was they talking about with that girl, Sexy Red? Well, they was being. You were saying they
Oh,
were saying
no,
mean.
no, that-
they were
it's-
saying mean stuff about
So
this
you have
child.
all these people that propose to be the voice of the streets that are supposedly everyone's from the ghetto, they're from the trenches. And they're so shocked. They act like Sexy Red is so, who is this she looks so crazy. This is crazy. Well, I mean, some version of her style is, what's in the inner city environment. Not everybody, whether you like it or not. She's just a person. And they talk about her as she's not doing anything but Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and the rest and Mulatto or whatever she calls herself now, Lotto, except,
Mulatto. I met her at the bar.
Oh,
She was at the, that's a different mulatto.
no, that's her. But
Okay.
except Sexy Red's
She danced at
about
the lookout.
5 shades darker than that.
And we were saying that could be a little the reason why she's held to a
They
different
hate
standard.
like these guys. Many of whom
Is it men or
look
women?
like the very type of
is it men
guy.
or women who are saying these things or a combination?
Well, I don't engage with it too much, so I'm scrolling and I just see it. But it's like a little cottage industry to talk bad about Sexy Red. Though some people like her.
I mean, okay.
She is very organic. Her and Glorilla, I remember I first saw the Glorilla. My boy was paid to put up like a snippet of Glorilla's effing that. And I remember I saw it and when it had 259 views. And I called him. I was like, oh, this is going to be popular because it's not a fake. Haven't been in LA and watched all these rappers flying from out of town. Get some dusky prostitute that passes as foreign from some low-level pimp in LA to stand around in the back of their video so they can think they got an exotic girl. And it's all so phony that at least Glorilla Sexy Red like, well, that's what, certain
Well, I think-
environment is like. At least it's real.
I think you got.
But they bitter. They talk about her like she's just the end of society.
It's a schizophrenic community, right? Because we don't separate class in the black community. We get real uncomfortable with class. So all black folks supposed to act alike, think alike. So that means it's one standard of behavior.
Well, you have a
Sexy Red don't ever want to be Camilla Harris. Sexy Red don't ever want to be Michelle Obama. That ain't what Sexy Red's world or group is about. They don't admire Camilla Harris.
Well, that's not who's talking bad about her.
They don't admire Michelle Obama. Right?
It's people that have podcasts that are like sort of probably generally mainstream people posing as being from some rough environment.
Well, that's even worse.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I'm not going to be the one that I think Sexxy Red in her early 20s. I believe. I don't follow the child's music.
Whether I like her music or I find her track is irrelevant.
I'm not going to talk bad about a 27-year-old black young African-American young woman who's got a couple kids and then figured out a way to eat in this crazy society we got. Now, the fact that they tell me she's got beauty products named after venereal
Now, you
disease.
told me that. I was shocked by that. Is that true?
That's true. That's true.
And what are they called?
I think one is called like gonorrhea.
Really?
Or syphilis.
That's shocking. Matter of fact, let's consult the Universal Overmind.
Which I think.
Are you sure? Or did someone just say that to put her down?
I saw like.
Sexxy Red.
Look at
beauty.
Right. Sexually transmitted.
that can't be true.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Now, what did it say there? Look at that. What did it say? Tell the truth, Al. Shame the devil. Tell the truth and shame the devil. What to call it?
Nah. Pouty Girl Boutique.
Keep going.
Pouty Girl. I think somebody was just saying that to be funny.
Was I a victim of AI?
Okay. Pound Town. Coochie Juice, Booty Hole Brown.
Booty Hole Brown.
Sex on my period.
Let's see. I don't be just saying things for the sex on my
Yellow Discharge.
Yellow
No.
Yeah, this is real. This is real, Al. So this is what I'm saying. But again, hey.
Oh, well, maybe I don't like her now.
No. There are other people doing that.
No, this is it.
No, that's real. I saw it when it came out.
No. This is a spoof because it says she revealed the most romantic thing a guy's ever done for her was a robbery.
Oh, that's.
I never forget. It was Valentine's Day. He robbed somebody.
That's like true romance.
And it was so sweet because he was out of breath and stuff. This is a spoof. This is a joke. That's not.
Even if it is, there's a thing called a brand.
No.
You can't associate yourself.
That's not.
You can't have on my page my name and then yellow discharge.
No.
You can't do that.
Yeah, that's not good.
Either way, I think a lot of people want to pretend like the level of ratchetness and any kind
they don't
of
care how
social norm.
No, they can't. No.
No, I'm trying to tell you, man. We live in high times.
That can't be true.
People want to be both ways. They want to be internet tough, internet about that life. They get squirmish when they see anything that reflects the reality of where some of our youth's minds is at. Because then they make them accountable to the people my age and a little bit younger of what a horrible job of example and role models and just how dysfunctional some situations, Yeah, look, it's real. I know it's traumatizing.
You know what? She might be very smart, and she might just be saying that because it doesn't look like it's out. It's like she's saying it to get because she's playing into how ridiculous. No, because I'm not finding.
You cannot yet buy a bottle of.
I think she just was saying that.
Yellow discharge is not yet available. On
the
market,
it's not.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No, I think she was just saying that because it doesn't look like it's available.
This is what I'm saying about at a certain point for $1 you can't. It's just certain shit you ain't supposed to be able to do for $1.
Because comes from a yellow discharge isn't even. That's not. That's just disgusting.
You're thinking too much.
It's not sexual.
You're thinking too much, bro.
It's not sexual.
You're thinking too. You're overthinking this.
Coochie pink is crazy, but I guess it's sexual. But yellow discharge and nut.
Any form of marketing gonorrhea, we have gone into the bizarro land, right?
I'm out of town thugging with my rounds.
Okay, now
Coochie pink, my blinky blink.
When brown booty hole in your name, like. Keep appearing in the same paragraph, that some would say there's a problem there, bro. I'm just saying that. But again, I'm not bashing her. I don't believe it was her marketing idea. I think
I don't think that's real.
Okay. It doesn't even matter if it's real. The fact that if the product line is not real, the fact that people in her camp are comfortable with just that kind of attention, that those are things that back in. Good. But it ain't.
We're making money.
That's the lie. But
now let me ask you a question.
But it ain't.
Now let me ask you a question.
And I'm a man, as you know, I got a real big strike zone of what a man or woman should do for money.
So
I'm not in a moral position to pass a lot of judgment on
that,
what
okay,
people,
so what if
people
what
do
she's
for-
doing is bad? As we know, we do all this content, and you once upon a
Right.
time
Well, y'all
involved
niggas need to
in
get that girl a bag so she can make an
distribution of-
honest living.
distribution of large amount of drugs. So is it
Give her-
worse
Give her some work so she
to have a house where people can buy heroin, or is it worse to have a lip gloss called Coochie Pink?
Coochie Pink is definitely a greater social.
Really?
Yes. Because Coochie Pink will affect and that mindset of young ladies not
Worse than having heroin available.
because the 8-year-old girl from middle America, middle wherever, is not being influenced by my dope house outside
the
the outskirts.
8-year-olds on that black are.
In the project first. Second, she's affecting an entire generation of young ladies' outlooks and value and what it is to be a young lady and how a young lady should carry herself.
So, do you think that though, if you're engaged, like any girl that would engage, it's like saying rap music causes violence. Well,
I'm not saying that.
Violent guy. Oh, I'm just saying. Like, I'm just do the logic.
Right.
I think that people that are already doing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not gonna be a normal girl with a healthy family structure and even want to engage with that.
I wish that was true.
I said I don't.
I would. No, I'm not saying that if you are. Let's just take the Detroit area for people don't know. There's an area in this town that's called Palmer Woods. It's probably where the most affluent, it's where the mayor lives. Mayor Dugan's home.
No, I thought you lived in Manugia Mansion.
But he bought a home for the came Mary bought a.
So what do they do with the Manugia Mansion?
He still is. I mean, it's like Trump with Mar-a-Lago. When your house is nicer than when you got more money really than the job can pay for, so Mike can afford $1 million house.
Why should Mike have all that? What was he?
He was president of DMC for years. I mean, CEO of DMC.
That's right. I thought he was the prosecutor.
That was years.
Oh, and then he was head of DMC, Detroit Medical
CEO for 10 years plus.
Oh.
Not to mention, his father. Shout out, R.I.P. to his father, Patrick Dugan, who showed a great deal of leniency to our family during this situation.
Judges shouldn't be rich.
Yeah, but his dad. Well, I mean, he'd be a federal judge for 40 years. Nixon appointed his dad, so he stayed on the federal bench for 50 years.
Oh, you had his father or your father?
One of the last cases that Mayor Dugan's father presided over was the Pakistani plug situation.
Oh,
he was the sentencing judge.
He sentenced your dad.
He sentenced my dad, and he showed a
very
great
lenient sentence. Shout out.
With the authorities in Washington encouragement that we're not going to talk about tribal. We're not going to talk about how things are getting from the tribal areas of Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Too big to jail.
But back to it. That I don't suggest that whether she be white or black or any young lady who's growing up in Palmer Woods in a nice stable family, just by mere exposure
she ain't gonna want
to Sexy Red is going to all of a sudden leave Jack in jail, which is the bourgeois little social network, leave Jack in jail, and all of a sudden start wearing bonnets to the store and cursing like a sailor and drop out of school and get her OnlyFans page and get on Tinder and stop going to University of Michigan or to Stanford because she saw Sexy Red. But there is a young lady who maybe ain't coming from such a stable environment.
She already doomed.
Who looks at Sexy Red and looks at the amount of attention. And I'm not at all blaming Sexy Red because Sexy Red is a product
That's right.
of our culture. She's a product of the leadership in our inner cities. She's a product of what our churches are doing in our communities. She's a product of what our public schools are doing. And I like she got some hustle, and the fact that when you got no cards to play and she done figured out a way to create a hand for herself, I salute the sister. I don't agree with her marketing, and it does not bring pride in me to say, look at Sexy Red as a glowing example of African American females and the future that we're about to bestow upon. But that ain't her fault, and that ain't even necessarily her job. But people trying to get likes. I'm sorry to interrupt you. People trying to get likes and shares
for
by
talking bad
about it. That ain't that cool.
That's even worse. If what she's doing isn't good, then using it to springboard yourself because you have nothing worth talking about. The internet is full of people that just talk horribly about other people.
Yeah, that's
in all sorts of ways, in all like it's pretty. I get that they're doing it because I guess they make money, but who watches it? Like to all day long. Because I see with the content we make, like we're competing with made up stories about nonsense. Even within, we're doing crime, supposed to be
True crime.
tough guy, this and that. And they even want to, so a lot of them want to watch just made up nonsense.
Man, desperation, man. And I to be honest, I'm glad I don't get it. And again, I know how to start a business, make a business, grow a business. And we could do, obviously, these people want us to cover all kind of goofy stuff or give people platforms, but I don't know, man. It's odd times we live in. I think we just got to keep putting out good quality stuff. I think in the end, it may be a minute. I think this is a phase.
It is. It's got to be
Because
things like this. It's like a lot of this content. It's shocking, so it's hitting their little dopamine. It's almost like it's kind of like crack in '85. A lot of people didn't really know no better. You go into your neighborhood store, and the guy that used to sell dollar joints, now you got $5 units of cocaine. You've only seen cocaine in a movie.
Right.
Oh, let me try some of that. And probably a lot of people were in the '80s. You know better than me. Were briefly crackheads, or not crackheads, but and realized like, whoa, what am I doing? It gets old. Drugs for most of the population. A lot of people in America have used a little drug. It gets old very fast. A lot of people have a year in college where they drinking, get drunk,
right.
And then
You'd be like,
I had my fill.
Yeah.
Now, a small amount of people don't, but I think the same thing might happen with a lot of this content,
Well,
where it's like,
you think like a Jerry Springer, maybe, like that whole
but
phenomenon.
this is worse than Jerry Springer.
I think this is the child of Jerry.
Yeah, but this is
Jerry
even
Springer
worse.
was the inception.
Yeah, I think this is the child of Jerry Springer. Right?
Yes,
this
absolutely.
is what Jerry Springer.
This is the spawn.
No, but I think that a lot of the kind of people that are doing this type of stuff and are interested in it, they were always like that. It's just you never knew what they were doing. There was no way to see what the sub-average people of America were up to, because you only saw them from a distance. You know, they were somewhere in the distance where you didn't go.
What?
They weren't talking in public. You didn't know what they had to say.
This,
You think if we would have, if social media existed in 1985 in Highland Park, you think it wouldn't have been a bunch of disturbing ignorance on there?
Oh, at Highland Park, Hamilton on 85, you would have saw some things.
That's where
But
I lived in the area.
But
And he
being
did other
that
things
we
in the
was
area.
outside for real in 86, 87. And this is gonna sound, however it sounds, is the truth. The crackhead broads of 86 and 87
We're better than the regular broads now.
carried themselves with more distinction and more class than the regular. And that's just, y'all take that. I mean, that's for real. That's for real. The appearance, the standard of hygiene and appearance.
I think a lot of people
of a drug user. I'm gonna not use the word. Let me take back.
No, but a lot of them aren't even drug users. They're regular. A lot of
right.
just regular people look crazy.
Well, I mean, so what I'm saying is, again, it's a class thing. What this internet is doing,
Yeah, right. You see what the low class people are doing.
What I believe.
And income doesn't make you can. Plenty of people with low income conduct themselves very fine and morally. And there's plenty of people with money.
The majority.
And there's plenty of people with money that act like scumbags. So,
they tend not to record it though.
well, it depends where you at. I guess.
Because no, that's part of the class structure thing that we don't like to talk about.
You think a lot of
There are certain things that you would get kicked out of certain organizations.
But if you ain't in no organization,
that's
and
a
you don't
class.
have a family.
That's a class.
Well, I think a
that's
big
part
thing of it
getting
now.
back
We
to
now
class
are at a
structure.
place where so many people, they may not have anyone in their family who they have any respect for. So, like, there was a lot of things. Like, when my grandmother was alive, that was the person of like, oh, I wouldn't.
Matriarch.
Wouldn't.
The
You wouldn't want that
the
look.
matriarchal figure.
Can't believe you did that.
Right, the matriarchal figure that is the.
But if your grandmother ain't shit, and a lot of people now got grandmothers that ain't shit. If your grandmother ain't shit, and your mother ain't shit, and nobody else in your family is.
We'll follow up on this, but in my opinion, what bothers me about the situation and about my community, there was a movie back.
And it's all communities.
There was a movie back in the '80s with Robert Goulet. The Joker, Lean on Me.
Robert,
you talking about Robert Guillaume.
Robert Guillaume
And Morgan Freeman.
And Morgan Freeman called Lean on Me.
Correct.
It's about this.
The principal,
Joe Clark, right?
Yeah.
There's a line in there, and it stood out to me in the '80s when the Joe Clark character, played by Morgan Freeman, he's lamenting because his boss was the Robert. What's his name?
Robert Guillaume.
Robert Guillaume is like the superintendent.
He was the superintendent.
And the Morgan Freeman character is the principal. And
he sat high.
And he says, I refuse. We got to do something with these kids. Because what's the boy's name? You on crack?
Oh.
The boy in his class.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tell the truth.
Yeah.
You smoking crack in my school. But and it goes, he turns this high school that is failing miserably. He puts some old school disciplines back into it. But there's a scene in there when him and the superintendent, he says, I refuse to be a part of the creating of a permanent underclass. That permanent underclass has taken root now. That permanent underclass that we used to talk about when we were in college in the 80s that was developing in America and in the African American community. But what I see now is a permanent underclass being created that's cross color. The powers that be, in my humble opinion, this permanent underclass will have nothing to do. It won't be the old black-white issue. It's just going to be a group of people that America has said, let them eat cake. Let them people kill each other, dope themselves up.
Escape from New York, basically.
All that.
There's a book that's called Coming Apart, the State of White America, and he just analyzes
Charles Murray.
And he uses census data to analyze basically he separated into college and non-college, which isn't an exact, but is a pretty good approximation of who's doing well and who's not. So people that have a college degree and are married are doing the same or better than they've always been.
College degree and married.
Yeah.
Are still all right. Numbers are stable.
Or even getting better. Their income's going up. Their children's outcomes are getting better and better.
Okay. American dream.
Now you have a whole, with the disappearance of good-paying blue-collar jobs. See, that's where the college part comes in. There's so many people that can't earn very much money. That's why you have these broken homes. Why be in a marriage or why be in a relationship if the father can't make enough money?
Yeah.
So these roles, or somebody, it doesn't, if one of the parents can't make enough money.
But the male in particular.
Usually, but different people have different setups.
When you take away the male's ability, or for whatever reason the male is
I don't know, they took it away, the economy just changed. And a lot of people haven't kept up.
When a man cannot be a provider, which has traditionally been his primary purpose, right? They can cause problems downstream from that.
And if dad's unemployed, or the mom's boyfriend or your father is unemployed and is at home smoking weed and playing video games, why am I going to do what he says? Why am I going to worry about he going to tell me I can't go out with this short dress on? Like, you're a bum. Bums don't get to, like kids, they might not be able to verbalize it, but I notice like
kids know hierarchy.
Kids that act, sometimes I'll be around kids, somebody like, oh, this kid is crazy, wild or something, and I'll be around them and they're fine. Because the kid can tell like, oh, this is an adult that is going to keep the environment safe and is like a nice adult and I can trust, But if they're around adults that they're looking like, oh, these adults are out of control around me, why were they going to do what they say?
Oh, I agree. To transition just a little bit, I mean, I hear online all this talk about how masculine the African-American female has become and yada yada. But a lot of that men who come off with feminine energy create masculine energy from women. Masculine energy tends to create feminine energy from women. So women, I am conflating women and children as being the same mindset.
To some degree. Well, not all women, but a lot of women.
To most degrees. Yeah. They call that, it's a word they use, misogynist. I learned that they called me that. They called me that online a few years ago.
But for the record, 3 of the most on-the-ball human beings I've ever been close to have been my grandmother, Linda, and Charles.
Well,
My friends. But
no. I often think this because my dentist is an African American female.
your mother is very.
All the
Your sister.
all-
You have 2 women in your
three-
family
and
that
my
are very.
auntie, R.I.P.
high power.
No, I think every time this woman is drilling in my mouth, there is no demographic that I feel more comfortable and safer in than the African American woman's care. And that is a direct result of all of the 98% of all the African American women that I've in my life
We're very on the ball.
were very on the ball. And so looking for them for guidance, protection, and leadership
It's natural.
is
yeah.
natural.
From the makers of Motown Mafia, beyond the headlines, beyond the crime, beyond the glamours and gold, they don't run around the streets. They run the streets. Beyond Street Dreams. Documentary coming soon to Amazon Prime, Tubi, and Pluto TV.